This is CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves football on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350. Let's head to the field and join the voices of the pack, Jim Brooks and Joe Cervi.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. It is the Car Pros John Wristen Show. Of course, the head coach, John Wristen, joining myself, Jim Brooks, along with Joe Cervi. Aaron Kinnishtzke, our producer and engineer tonight of the Wristen Show. Playoff edition. That's right, playoffs. Playoff edition of the Car Pros John Wristen Show. John, it's good to be back where the Thunderwolves program belongs.
Well, it's a special time. You know, we're playing another week in November to have a chance to get things done, and so it's a lot of fun, a lot of buzz around here. Hey, Mom.
It's a big game because Mom and Dad are in the house.
Wow.
They are making an appearance. It is playoff edition.
And Sister Sue made a seasonal appearance today, Coach.
Well, that's a good sign, I guess.
That's a great sign.
It's a big game. It's a big game because they're here.
Yep.
That's just one of the reasons it's a big game.
I guess it's one of the reasons. But what a lot of electricity in the air around here, you know, especially all week. And you can kind of feel it tonight. And there's the best Boston Red Sox fan I could ever find around here. And
I thought I was.
Well, that's why I said that, you know. So it's kind of cool times right now.
It is, and we'll talk about the ball game on Saturday. And that, in my mind, John, going in was the ultimate, what we call a trap game. You know, you could be thinking ahead, we're gonna beat these guys. We got them. We beat them every year. We're looking forward to the playoffs. It's a trap, and they could ambush you. They played very well this year, but your ball club came out with a mindset, I thought, from the get-go. We're taking care of business today.
Well, I thought during the week of practice that I really felt like it was going to be a tough sled, you know, for us to go do our thing. But our kids, you hear me say this all the time, and it's really an adjective that I use is play fast, you know. And so I think that us being able to play fast was able for us to do what we did. And what I mean by that is we're not running fast, but you know, we didn't really beat ourselves on any really stupid penalties, you know, when the things were going on. 2, we were targeted right, both offense and defense. So we didn't give a lot of big plays up. We made big plays. And then 3, the reality of us not turning the ball over is all what I look at as locking it in and playing fast. And when you can do that, you're only playing against one team. And,
right.
and that's your opponent. And so our guys have adopted that. I think they played that way at the end of the year, and it's a lot of fun to coach them that way.
Well, your offense clicking, both running the football and the passing game again. Just a great game by Hunter. But I thought defensively is where you set the tone in this game, John. They got a little, they had a little positive thing. Got a first down the first drive. They're moving it a little bit. You get the turnover, take advantage of it, get another score on top of that. Then they're moving again, and you get probably the biggest play of the game was their biggest play. They get a big play down inside the 10. You knock the ball free, get the fumble recovery, and they were just uncomfortable the rest of the way. Joe and I commented, their quarterback, he was under stress the entire day. He had the happy feet. One time he looked around and he thought he was going to get hit. There was nobody behind him. He thought for sure he was going to get shellacked, so that threw his timing off. He ends up just dumping one out of bounds. But I thought that was the key to the game, making him totally uncomfortable.
Well, I think, when you're going in, and these Black Hills has been playing very good football. I mean, and I was hoping our kids would have that respect for their opponent.
Right.
But it's not so much the respect for the opponent, it's about respect to the way you play the game. And so we stressed it was all about us. And I knew, that defensively they are sound, and they're very well coached, and they knew their scheme is you got to do some different things to take advantage of it. And I think us throwing that first big touchdown to Zach kind of just let everybody go,
Yeah.
You know, you didn't feel stress, and you played stress-free football from that point on, and you just felt our kids have that energy and develop a little moxie, you know, develop a little confidence. And so I thought that was a big play. And then, you know, defensively, I don't know how many times I turned on that film, and there was all 11 guys around the ball. There was 9, 10, 11 guys running the ball. And I think that if you take from what happened the first part of the year to where our kids are, I think that's the biggest difference is our attitude toward our discipline of doing our job. And when you have that, you see the results with the shutout, what our defense did.
Well, there was a play early on that they ran to their sideline, and CSU Pueblo made the play. And like you said, there were 6 Thunderwolves on their sideline, and I just kind of watched their team kind of get out of the way and let your guys take over. And I saw the juice. You know, we talk about the juice, and it seems like that juice is just getting squeezed harder and harder every week. And they couldn't have played more stress-free than they did on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought that, you know, we traveled. We went up there Thursday night to stay in Cheyenne, and there was over 150 pool tables in our hotel.
Nice.
There was a big pool tournament going on, and there was people from Colorado and Pueblo and Springs. We get off, and the guy, he's out having a cigarette, and the guy looks around and goes, where are you guys from? I said, we're from down in Pueblo. He goes, are you an athletic team? I go, you think these guys are gymnastic guys or what? And he started laughing. He goes, you guys from Pueblo? I'm from Colorado Springs. And he goes, are you the Thunderwolves? I said, yeah, we're the damn good Thunderwolves, is what I said. and you know, I felt like our kids handled that a little bit because it was a little cold, and I didn't want to do a walkthrough outside and get them and time up lunch and sandwiches to get to Mount Rushmore and the travel, and you're trying to move all the moving parts. But it was kind of fun. We were all sitting there watching them play pool and doing the things. We did a walkthrough in the parking lot, and the kids bought in. You could tell whether you have to, hey, come on now, let's go. And so the kids bought in at that point, and it made the ride a lot easier going to Spearfish.
Doesn't winning solve lots of problems? Doesn't it just...
It's a good deodorant.
It just creates... It helps you work on the things you need to work on, but it also... It just makes that camaraderie. But, you know, we've watched it up close, and I personally think, and this is just Joe talking, the lowest point of this team this season was that week before Mines. And that game was not a good game, but then you challenged them, they came back, and then ever since that day, that Sunday following Mines, it's just been a steady progression. And I always hate the term peaking, but boy, you're playing really good football right now.
Well, I don't disagree with you, Joe. For the first time, I do agree with you. So, you know, I think that might be one of those things. But I think what's happened is I firmly believe that winning either mask the problem, frost over the cake, and what's inside, and doing those things. But I think what we had to do, we were exposed early on, and we were exposed that we didn't buy into the way to do it, in my opinion, and that's an attitude and effort. And we went back to that, and I still remember our meeting with my inner circle guys on the Monday right after Mines. Okay, what do you guys want to do? What's this dialogue? What's it going to be? And to their credit, they've held this team accountable. They've held this team accountable by an attitude and work ethic. We changed some things in practice, got things accomplished, and then the second big part of that to me is you develop some confidence. I don't think we had a lot of confidence.
No.
I think after Midwestern, we thought we'd go, and then, you know, lining up and playing a number one team in the country in Grand Valley. I think we lasted a little bit, and then at Western we just didn't show up. I think, and I don't know if we didn't give that enough respect, and Western took advantage of it. But we had opportunities in that ball game to really, and I think we're taking advantage of those opportunities because of our confidence that we developed over the last really 2 months.
Well, I think in the first game against Mines, you had opportunities in that game, especially early, but the attitude wasn't. It was sort of everybody's dauber was down, and it took that meeting on Monday following that game to see which way you want to go. But was there a player, or was there an individual, or was there a group that said, "Screw this, let's go"? I mean, I know you have your inner circle, but it just seems like this team's feeding off each other now.
Well, I think the reality of that meeting and what was taking place was it was a collective spirit that said something needs to change. And so it brought up, Leslie Richardson's in it. And he goes, we don't have any juice. We didn't play with that. And I remember, okay, who's in charge of that? I guess it's me. I said, what have I done? And they said, no, it's on us. So, you try to have some really ownership in this whole thing. I want these kids to have ownership. And then I remember that Max Gonzalez and Luke Conalog a little bit talked to Trey Potts, talked about, how on defense, you're not running the ball, we were doing up downs and doing those things. And that was kind of what our standard was and expectation. And so for those kids to bring it up, they meant they wanted to change. And so, I told the defensive staff, this is what we're going to do. If it's not acceptable, and I think their first 2 weeks there was about 100 up downs all the time, and those guys don't like doing that. And then so if the scout team defense scored on them, they had to do more up downs. So that was a combination of things got to change, but it came from the players. It came from all the players that wanted to make sure we get all that done. So.
How about that, Leslie Richardson being a part of that circle? And there's a guy that's kind of the odd man out a little bit in the quarterback position, and could really easily not be a team guy, right? I mean, he came here to play quarterback, and he's third. But how about him being a guy that's stepping up attitude-wise?
Well, and that's what I value, that inner circle, and I probably broke our number one rule, is that what's said in here stays in here, and because I got to hear it, I got to take it, and I can't be defensive on it, on things, and so I try to make sure that they are heard and honored, and let's form a plan together, and I try to max that. So, when you're dealing with a lot of moving parts. You got coaches, you got trainers, you got weights, you got kids that are scout team that aren't playing. You got to make sure that they all are validated. And I think it starts from your leadership.
Well, it's always the saying, you're either playing on your heels or you're making the other team be on their heels. I think the Thunderwolves have realized we got to put the other team on their heels, and that's kind of what's happened.
Yeah, I think both offense and defensive, we've been able to pick up the tempo. We've been able to pick up the idea of going and playing pack football and know the difference of winning and losing is a fine line. You can't just show up and wear that helmet. And I think a lot of times that happens. I think that happens to successful programs. And I think they forget the process because they want the results. And you got to understand the process takes care of the results. The results just don't show up and do it.
Well, that's good news. Now, it might be the bad news, but maybe it is the good news. You're going to play the ultimate opponent this week. These guys have their sights on bigger things than winning a first-round playoff game. They were in the semifinals last year. They feel like they got a little bit of a raw deal the first couple games of the year, which they could have easily won one play, decided each one of those games. They could be the team sitting there undefeated. But your club now has to realize, hey, now we got to pick it up another notch to match them. We know what they did to us the first matchup this year. We kind of played with them in the second half, but maybe the game was decided then. Now we got to bring that type of play into the first half right from the start of the ball game.
Well, I think it's easy to do when you're a front-running team. Okay? I think everybody has a bunch of front-runners. When everything's going good, everybody's all excited, et cetera, et cetera. So our nose is going to get bloody. We know that. And how are we going to respond to that? How are we going to answer to that? And I think we didn't know how to do that in the first game. And so I'm anxious to see how we are able to have a little resolve, have a little moxie, and make sure you go have a little fun on what we do. And so I think we've learned that. We were 11 points down at Mesa. We were a bit down before against a pretty good team. And so we got our work cut out for us to make sure that we can master that.
And with that said, Mines this year has been down in a couple games. They're vulnerable in some spots. They were down 20-3 at Western Colorado. But you talk about moxie. They've showed the ability, hey, we're down, we're going to come back and win a ball game. So that's what you got to realize. Hey, if we get on top of these guys, we got to keep going because they're going to come back.
Yeah,
it's kind of a counter-punching game, isn't it?
Well, I hope we can counter.
Yeah, that's the key is counter-punching,
because you're going to get punched. You're going to get, and I mean that in the way you play the game. And I want to make sure that our guys respond and have a little bit of an idea of an attitude going in there, and I think we got that. And, we're looking to make sure that we go try to play our best ball in the big gold box that we're in.
All right, we're going to come back after this timeout. We got highlights from the game on Saturday. Got your questions a little bit later on, 719-671-7574, 719-671-7574, or you can tweet Joe. He's part of the tweeters, Phil. You haven't been kicked off yet?
Well, it hasn't collapsed yet.
Okay,
so
it hasn't collapsed around you. All right, well, that's good. Since it's still there, we can do that. All right, Car Pros John Wristen Show. We're at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. Come on and join us here on Fox Sports Pueblo.
Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350. This is the John Wristen Show. Let's join the voices of the pack, Jim Brooks and Joe Cervi, along with CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves head coach, John Wristen.
And welcome back, ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House, Car Pros John Wristen Show. Sure, give yourself a hand out there, Thunderwolf land. Food's arrived.
Well,
and part of the food.
Just missing the caprese, but we haven't changed. This has been the same exact meal for 7 weeks. This is the 8th week now. That this is obviously the Wednesday of Champions meal.
Well, you did a good job of making sure the food got ordered.
John, when you were a player, were you ever superstitious? You ever wear the same shirt, same socks, same something, comb your hair the same? What'd you do?
I really had same socks, and I tried to wear the same, undergarment.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
and
we're all athletic supporters, John.
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
you don't call it a jock anymore.
No,
do you?
That's right.
You don't do that.
You can. Athletic supporter.
But there was a game one, and then there was everybody else one.
All right.
Well, when you're out in public, you want to have a different one.
Yeah.
When you're out on the town.
All
right, John, let's get some highlights, shall we? We got 7 of them, I think, racked up. We got 2 defensive plays. We got 5 offensive plays.
Perfect.
All right, so let's start it off with the defense. They get a first down on the first drive. Looked like they might be ready to click when you come up with a big play on defense. Now the Thunderwolves saying we've got it. Let's see what the call is here. Did he get it on the tip? And it is an interception.
Well, they marked it at the 40.
I thought the ball hit the turf, but Thunderwolves sold it, and they get control of the ball here.
That's where I wish we had replay because I want to see that play again.
All right, John, you have the advantage looking at film. Did he catch it clean?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It was unbelievable. He had his hand underneath it. That's the difference. And it didn't hit the ground.
There was no hesitation by the officials, so they saw it.
Well,
it just looked, the naked eye.
I said, on live, I go, did he catch that? Because it's going towards you guys up in the booth.
Right.
And it was away from us, and I thought he made one heck of a play on that, just diving and laying out. That's Keith McCaney. He's really come on and really had a really outstanding last part of the season.
Now he got a little injured later on the game, but it looks like maybe a game-time decision, be able to play a little bit?
Yeah, we're going to test it out. We'll have a better idea tomorrow.
All right, so that's good news. And he missed the first matchup this year against Mines.
Yep.
So we'd like to have him back for that ball game. So that's where you were under a lot of stress in that Mines game. You're playing 2 backups at the corner, and just trying to throw guys to the Wolves. And as it turned out, they got a lot of experience as this year goes on. It's a totally different ball club, John. I think people can agree on that.
Well, I think that we're playing a lot faster, like I talked about, and they get more confidence, and I think we're also coaching a lot better. I think your staff had to develop a little bit, and I think it's a combination of all that.
All right, speaking of fast, first touchdown of the game was a fast one. Steps up into the pocket, fires down the middle. He's got his man caught in the clear. Across the 15, 10, 5, touchdown. It's Rakowski.
No flags. Touchdown, Thunderwolves.
What a strike by Roque, but you give him time and let him step into it. And just a post pattern that time by Rakowski, and he beat his man by 2 steps. That was the key there, John. When you're able to, you're a quarterback, so when you're able to step into it, not worry about people at your feet and throwing you off your platform, as they say now. That's the big word. Don't knock him off his platform. And when Hunter has that ability, boom.
Well, I think it was well designed. I think Braley and Wilk have done a great job of designing some of these things, and we got the matchup we wanted with Doodles, and we wanted to try to take advantage of him one-on-one, and Zach ran a great route, and our offensive line protected. It was unbelievable, have enough time, and you can kind of see him take a shot and pull it back with his arm right there, and knew that was a big play.
All right, so we move on a little bit further. Now, this next play we're going to listen to, John, was one of the more creative offensive calls ever, because you roll Hunter to the left, gets everybody thinking that way, but you'd fake the ball to Jordan, so he just kind of leaks out in the flat, and it worked brilliantly because everybody forgot about him, and it turned out to be a wide-open touchdown. Here's the second touchdown of the day. They're going to fake the run around the right side. Roque now looking. Wide open. Jones, he's got a touchdown. That was a brilliantly designed play. They faked the run to Jones. He sneaks out around the right side, Joe, and they found him wide open.
Yeah, you got poor Black Hills. They're going to see that on film, and they're just going to see a running back go all the way around everyone and be wide open in the end zone.
Talk about the design of the play, John.
Well, we're trying to run a little bootleg with a little option, and so we had our tight end, Curtis Luckadoo, go around and go in motion, and we usually have a run-pass option off that, but we sealed the end with him, and then Hunter rides the tailback, which was Jordan Jones in there, and then he breaks contain, and what was key to that was all the sell by the offensive lineman and Curtis Luckadoo. And then Jordan was really good about taking his time, not rushing out there, but taking his time and buying that, was able to set that up. And we looked and said, well, that's about as wide as open you're ever going to get right there,
Well,
so,
he was so wide open that he caught the ball so gingerly, because sometimes when you're that wide open, you just oh no.
Yeah.
I mean, he cradled that thing like an A. He was just like, oh, this is going with, and then he take 2 steps and he's in the end zone.
Yeah, that was one of those plays that you thought would work the way it did, and it did work the way it was supposed to do.
Is that one that you get to run once?
More than likely.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Run. You don't. That's not the one you go run it again, Joe.
No, because then they're on.
It's all based on.
Yeah, they're on to you. But boy, was it. You know what I loved about it though? Bradley Brown, he comes in and gives us a high five of knuckles before every game. It's like his superstition, but they found that rhythm.
Yeah.
With the offense, with Simo's guys getting the protection and Wilkin, it seems like they just kind of found their rhythm.
Yeah, we're getting, and that's why I said we've coached better. We got the understanding of what our kids can do, and I think I think as a teacher, you almost the puzzles aren't always the same, and the pieces of the puzzle aren't always the same, I should say, and so. And it's chess, not checkers, and so everybody's moving a little bit different, and so you got to manage that. And I think our staff has done a remarkable job.
All right, back to the defense. You're up 14-0. They start to mount a little bit of drive. They hit a big play over the middle, but it turned out to be a disaster for them. Goes over the middle. Man is open on the post, inside the 20, inside the 15, down to about the ball comes out. Thunderbolts have it. Ball came out late. Thunderwolves have it now. The conference here was his forward progress stopped. The officials all looking lost here. Nobody wanting to make a decision here. That ball came out.
Yeah, that was a fumble.
Boy, you hate it when they do decide. It was almost like, hey, did anybody have him down? Please, did anybody have him down? It's the Thunderwolves. Okay, no, all right. Got to give it to him. Fumble recovery.
Yeah,
Clearly ripped it free.
I forgot who recovered that.
Donnell.
Yeah.
Was it Donnell?
Yes, Donnell recovered it.
Eric's done a wonderful job of being around the ball all the time. He's just his ball hawk, being responsible. He's got great ball skills, and he's been able to do that. And so I think that our defense that was a pretty good throw and catch they had, but we rallied to the ball. You know, we had 4 guys around that ball to make that happen. And so it was really nice to see us rally and making sure that we took advantage of those opportunities.
Then you drive the ball right back down the field, and you're thinking, well, all right, we're going to give this ball up the middle, nice little running play, reward some running back. But again, this was just a brilliantly designed. We've seen it run this year with your tight end, Villapana, on the big screen that worked last week, but you kind of fake the action one way and then drag a tight end across. We'll go ahead and listen to the play and let you comment on it. Takes a snap, a fake it, pass right side, Lucky to the end zone, touchdown.
I wasn't sure if the official was going to call it. He was just kind of, I guess he's in. We were waiting for a signal from the officials that nobody wanted to call a touchdown.
Poor Curtis, he really wanted that one.
Yeah, no
and
kidding.
So he was stretching to get his big arm over there, and if there was a stretch, he said, why isn't that a touchdown?
Yeah.
Why aren't they trying to do that? And so, again, it was one of those things, if you probably could have handed the ball off and walked in and we were trying to do, but we had an option on that, and Hunter decided to give Curtis a little love, and our
His
guys.
first touchdown of the year.
Yep, so that was good.
Well, even a little love, but it also plants the seed in the defense now. That they scout, they're watching, man, they could run that play. We can't just sell out for the run because somebody's got to account for that dude, and it helps in the future, right?
Well,
all these plays do.
It gives some different options for sure.
All right, so the parade continues. We move a little bit further into the action, and guys just had a tremendous year catching the football. Max Fine contributes a touchdown here. Fake it to him. They look right, fire right, touchdown, Max Fine. Little rub route that time. Sometimes you might say offensive pass interference on Rakowski. Not this time.
Well, both defenders turned in. Receiver turned out wide open.
That's why you run those little crossers in the end zone, don't you, John, to free somebody up, don't you? Get somebody occupied, and they more or less picked each other off, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it's one of those, you're looking to create space, right? Whether you rub into them or they rub into themselves or someone. And I think, Braley has done a really nice job of designing those. Our kids are really getting confident running those routes. And then our quarterbacks enjoying throwing those wide open guys as long as our guys protect. And so that was a great play design.
It helps that you have really good route runners.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not just fast guys that have hands. They run precise routes the way they're drawn up.
Yep, they do a nice job of setting up the defender.
All right, this next touchdown is the guy we talk about. It seems like each and every week he's taking advantage of his opportunities, and C.K. Paulus hits a big play. 2nd down and 12. Straight drop back by Roque. Steps up in the pocket, fires down the middle, caught by Paulus. Breaks the tackle.
Division II program in the country. Always in the top tier of the.
That was a key there, Johnny. Broke that tackle to take it on into the end zone. He's a big physical guy, though, wide receiver. Maybe a little deceptive as how big and strong he is.
Yeah, he goes from thinking he's done for the year to go in and run his, it was 65 yards or something on that touchdown. And he did a great job of being able to set that up with the guy running the route. He was they were running a little dig, and the safety bit on it, and then he went vertical. And so that was a tough throw, too, because when you're throwing it straight down on the line, you don't have the perception of a guy running to the flat like you got on a corner route, or you got that wide open field to run the post like Zach had. But that was right down the middle, and CK did a great job catching the ball in his hands and then eluding that tackle at the very end. And I thought that was really, really awesome.
Yeah, it looked grim there, John, when he went down, grabbing at his knee. Anytime a guy's grabbing at his knee, not able to walk, looked like, oh, man, he's blown his knee out. He's done. What happened? Just a little cramp, or did he hear something? Joe talks about it. Sometimes I'm done. Something popped. But then you find out, well, that wasn't anything.
Well,
what happened to him?
He's got a little sore knee going on, and he got it dinged a little bit. That's the best way to say it. And so, he was able to come back and fight through the pain a little bit. But I thought he was down on the ground. He wouldn't roll over. And so we're trying to talk to him. And I'm going, holy smokes, come on. Get up, CK, get up. Because he's really had a great back half of the season.
All right, there's your highlights for this week's ball game against Black Hills State. Come back after this timeout. We got some questions lined up. I saw my phone lighting up here. We got 3 more coming in, so we'll do those. 719-671-7574. The hot mic is available, too. We've got these little beanies here to give away. They're a hot item right now. People are loving these things. My nephew Rick, the other day, he saw one in my bag. Hey, can I have that? I go, yeah, you can have one. So he was excited because he's usually wearing something promoting somebody else. He goes, this is nice.
Well, we happen to have a table full of defensive backs over there.
Nice.
One of them came over and said they could have it, and they all wanted it. So.
Well, this is an incentive for them to earn your hat this weekend against Mines and Matoka. Don't give him any free space to toss that ball around.
We got to go take it back. They said they're too fast. It came off the table too fast. So
all right, we'll come back.
Sure.
We got all your questions. John will have the answers. That all comes your way next. Car Pros, John Wristen Show. We are at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House on Fox Sports Pueblo.
Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350. This is the John Wristen Show. Let's join the voices of the pack, Jim Brooks and Joe Cervi, along with CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves head coach, John Wristen.
And welcome back, ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. It is Car Pros, John Wristen Show. The beanies are hot. People keep coming up, but we have 2 left in reserve here. These are for the hot mic, so I know there's some people wanting another hat here. But the only way you can earn it now is on the hot mic. So you got to, but we have a hot mic question anyway. Let's go right away. You got to state your name and for everybody to hear there, okay?
Hello, Coach. My name is Carl.
I know Carl.
Whoops, let's turn John up here since we had the headset off. Go ahead, John.
I appreciate you, Carl. Thank you for coming out and listening. You're a great Thunderwolf fan. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach. I try to be. Well, my question is for you, without giving out too much information, what is the difference between Mines team this week that you'll be facing and the team that you faced about 3 weeks ago?
Well, I think that Mines team is still a very well coached team and a very physical team and doing things. I think the difference is in the Thunderwolves. And the Thunderwolves are a little more confident in their ability to go play. And I think we're healthy this time around, and that was excuse last time. But I do think our kids have a lot of respect for Colorado School of Mines. I know I do in our program. But I do think this is just a totally different team for the Thunderwolves. I think for the Colorado School of Mines, they're well coached. Their quarterback makes plays after plays. He's a warrior. The running back's a warrior. Their defense is special. But the difference is in the Thunderwolves about the way they're playing football. And so we're looking forward to having a great college football game up in Golden. But thank you for that question, Carl. Great question.
All right, enjoy that cap there, Carl.
Carl with the good question.
Season ticket holder.
That's the best question right there.
Yeah, he is.
He's one of the first ones in the stadium every week at the Thunder Bowl.
All right. And listens to all the road games, too. I get to hear from him once in a while. He loves basketball, too. All right, Uncle Charlie checking in as usual. John's going to take me a little bit to work through Uncle Charlie here. Let's see. We got about, okay.
We should put Uncle Charlie on Twitter because you only get 140 characters.
Okay, so he thinks we've upped our skill level. Got a new quarterback, okay. So that's going to be a little difference. Coaching staff is really on top of the game, so he's complimenting you there. And he wants to know.
Are you sure this is Charlie?
This is Uncle Charlie, yeah.
I just want to make sure I didn't sound like
he wants to know what is the difference going to be for the Thunderwolves in this game. You kind of touched on with Carl, but the main difference between this matchup, this go-round, as opposed to Week 4.
Well, I do think we're a little more confident. We just got through a 4-game stretch there at the very beginning where I think you walk out of that Midwestern game and go, okay, hey, we're pretty good, and then you get your chin popped a little bit versus Grand Valley. You didn't respond, and Western we didn't make the plays that we needed to, and so you go into that game, I think, doubting yourself, doubting being able to do that, and the confidence, and so. And we got behind the 8 ball a little bit. We couldn't answer their touchdowns on offense, and we couldn't stop them. And so I really think you're going to find a different group of guys that are going to take the field and with a great attitude about being able to go play this game. And I didn't know whether we had that going on. And I just think we're playing at a different level, and it's all about us. And I think the reality of this is that we got to just go play our game and have fun and not get too excited to go do this. Just go be focused at the task at hand.
Well, Ken checking in from Missouri, basically the same question. He wants to know what the difference, but he also had a little comment at the end. He goes, one of these Mines guys going to run out of eligibility. This is a dynamic class that's come through here right now with these guys that are seniors for their club. You got to, it's probably the greatest class of football players Mines has ever had.
Yeah, I think...
they've had some good teams in the past. These guys, Matoka leads them, but the quarterback or the running back, great. They've got good linemen. They're just good.
Well, I think they're better defensively than the other teams that they've had. They've always been really, really good offensively, but I think defensively they're so much better, and they've done a great job with the speed and trying to really adapt to that. I think their defensive linemen and linebackers are as good as anybody in the country.
Well, their head coach was a linebacker, so he kind of brings that mentality to the ball club, doesn't he?
Yep, sure does. And he's one heck of a coach.
All right, Don checking in. Wants to know, how does this team, the Thunderwolves, compare to the 2018 ball club? Remember, it was kind of the same scenario. They shellacked you the first game of the year up there at their place. You go into the playoffs. You turn the tides on them. You beat them in that first-round playoff game up there at their place. So a lot of similarities to that year. What is similar about this year's Thunderwolf Ball Club compared to that 2018 team that won a playoff game?
I don't know if I have a clear-cut difference, except I do think that we're able to throw the ball and move the ball down the field better than we did. And I think that our defensive line is playing a lot more physical than we did the first part of the year. That was a pretty good defensive line that we had with Deion Sizer and Michael Wristen and I forget who the other end is right now, but and Joe Rosenbach and James Maxey and those guys.
Tanner and
we had Tanner,
Darius
and those guys that were. Darius Williams made a big play in that. So I think that as we've evolved in our season, we've become better on our defensive line, and that's made better.
All right, hot mic. Go ahead, Wayne.
Well, it's going to be cold, so I've got to get myself a beanie, so that I better come up with a question.
That's right. There you go.
And I don't want to mess with the
fits.
streak. I've been coming up here every week asking about these RMAC refs, and I'm not going to be mad at them this week. I just have a question. Since this is the playoffs, do we have RMAC since we're both RMAC, or are they going to give us a neutral crew?
They giving us a different crew, and I don't know where that's coming from. I haven't been alerted to that. It's usually been the MIAA that's out of Kansas and that area, Missouri, but might be a Northern Sun team out of up there. So I really don't know.
Well,
Don't have to worry about that, Wayne.
There you go. Go Pack.
Thanks,
right,
Wayne. Appreciate it.
Enjoy that cap.
All
right, there you go.
I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but whether you like the officials or not who you have in a certain RMAC game, at least you know their tendencies. At least you know do these guys let you play? Do these guys not let you play? There was only one really egregiously poor call Saturday at Black Hills.
The grounding.
It was like
non-grounding.
The non-grounding call on the roughing, and so we just don't understand that. But do you have to adjust Or is that just something you do on the fly?
I think the playoff games, they let you play.
Yeah.
And they make the big calls big. And so
which is what you want.
That's what I tell in the pregame. I said, make the calls big. But you know that call on the punter?
Yeah.
That was not roughing.
No.
It was
the punter.
It was unnecessary roughness.
What was so unnecessary?
That was called a CYA call, John.
Because the punter was soft doesn't mean that you're not supposed to do anything. He doesn't know how to respond to that. Yeah. I mean, he goes, I would call that on the field. What would you have called?
Well, you
can't tackle?
Well, he didn't want to pick up the flag is what he didn't want to do.
Exactly. He goes, I got to call something here. And then
I actually said, you're absolutely the worst. I said that. And I have never made that comment. I have never made that comment.
You make it weekly.
Yeah, well, then
I don't.
Then the lack of the grounding call. The ball was 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage where it went out of bounds. He comes on the mic and he goes, well, the ball made it to the line of scrimmage. No grounding. It's like, come on, sir.
Well, their rule is that the line of scrimmage is extended on that, is the rule. So I'm standing 5 yards up, okay? The ball goes, the line of scrimmage is to my left. So the ball comes over my right shoulder about 6 yards up the field, and the guy turns around and goes, I looked back and saw where it landed. I said, boy, you better you better officiate with those eyes on the back of your head than in the front, because if you can see that, you're a hell of an official. That's what I told him.
Oh, so he thought the ball maybe like a little slider action?
Yeah, but you said it got there, and I said, you saw that with the eyes on the back of your head?
The magic.
No, he goes, I turned. Magic. I said, well, if you turned, you were should be on the movies.
All right, Denny checking in here on the weather. We're catching a break just like we caught last week. The weather was horrendous on Thursday, Friday. A lot of snow on the ground up there at Spearfish, and they got it off the field. Field conditions were perfect. Weather's going to be atrocious Friday, but Saturday they're calling for a nice day, 40 degrees.
40 degrees, sunny,
shouldn't
and
be a factor.
We're going to take that stadium over with red.
That's right. It's a kind of game where we can get a lot of fans there. Okay, thank you, everybody, for your question and answer. We'll come back. We'll talk about the ball game this week against Mines. That comes your way next. Car Pros John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo.
It's your home for CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves football. It's KUBE Pueblo. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
This is CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves football on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350. Let's head to the field and join the voices of the pack, Jim Brooks and Joe Cervi.
And welcome back. ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House. Final segment of the Car Pros John Wristen Show for this week. Well, it's that time. Got to talk about the opponent this week, Colorado Mines. They beat you the first game. 45-17, I think was the final score. They got a big lead on you early, John, and I don't want to say you never recovered, but in the second half, the team finally got your wits about you. You made the change at quarterback. Hunter came in, kind of righted the ship, and you kind of played with him in the second half. Just got too big a deficit to overcome. I think the key probably in this game, we got to slow them down a little bit, but we got to feel like the Thunderbolts are going to score a little bit more in this ball game. The offense has come along, so that's where you got to kind of make it up. Got to slow them down a little bit, got to score a little bit more, don't you?
Well,
pretty simple, right?
It's pretty simple as you make it. It's trying to say. I think the reality of this is I really think there's really three big factors in this ball game. One, we got to make sure they play behind the chains and we play in front of the chains. And what I mean by that is we got to make sure that, first down we're 2nd and 6 plus, and making sure we understand that. And then we got to be able to make sure that we make them play and it's 3rd and 10, and those things happen. And it's very hard with that Matoka, the Warrior, and I just think he's plays it, but. I think our guys are up to the challenge. Our DBs are looking for a chance to play their best football yet, and they're excited to go play. And so the second part of that is that I think on defense we got to be able to rally and run to the ball, and then on that other part of that is our offensive line has to really be physical. And I just think with us being physical on our offensive line, we'll have a chance to go compete and get after it.
Well, you had some big runs early in the game. Bacher had a nice run, got down the side. He worked the ball right down the field. Unfortunately, the drive fizzled. He kicked the field goal, but at that point when it was 7-3, he said, all right, we've kind of righted the ship. Maybe we're going to have a chance here.
Yeah, I think that what really was probably frustrating for our whole program, we gave up really 5 pretty easy touchdowns. That was uncommon, and I think they scored 6 straight times with touchdowns, and really we couldn't answer the bell and do that. And so and I think that it all started with a turnover too.
Yeah.
And so the other thing is that we got to go win the turnover battle. We got to make sure that we don't turn the ball over and get turnovers, which, Matoka does a good job of handling the ball, but, they do have some chances to maybe throw it up, and we might have a chance to go make it happen. But the reality of it is that if we win the turnover battle, we play in front of the chains, we'll have a chance to get this thing to the fourth quarter.
Well, it's easier said than done, but it seems like if you keep him kind of contained in the pocket, you might have a better shot. When he gets out on the edge, he freelances with the best of them.
And their receivers are outstanding about breaking it off, getting open. Zeman does a good job sneaking out of the backfield. And they just got a knack for finding that open space. And so they do a great job of the scramble part of it. But, our job is to keep him in the pocket. We got to keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get outside. We got to match up with the numbers on the outside. We got to tackle inside with when they start running the ball with Zeman. And so it's going to be one heck of a chess match going on, and I'm looking forward to it.
It's kind of the ultimate, hey, it's the next play, guys. If they hit us, that's all right. The next play, we got to stop them the next play. So they're going to have some positive results, just as the Thunderbolts going to have some positive results. It's who rallies the next play.
Well, when you play playoff football in November, you really, your team has to have enough character to manage the ebbs and flows of the ball game. And the ebbs and flows of the ball game, you can't get as high as the mountaintop and you can't get as low as the valleys. You got to manage the ebbs and flow. And when you can stay even kill, you're going to be able to execute, and you're going to be able to have the calmness to go get it done versus overreacting.
The one thing you got to realize is there are enough players on this CSU Pueblo roster right now that were on the roster in 2018. They remember that. A lot of these guys were freshmen watching from the sidelines and seeing what can be done when you believe it. And those are your guys in your inner circle now. Those are the guys that have to perform on Saturday.
Yeah, I think whether you buy into the culture of your program that's passed on, is that I think that, yeah, they understood it, and they understand that this is the first time for a lot of these guys to be in the playoffs playing ball games, when you go through what we've gone through. And this is their time as seniors. I think I'm really proud of the seniors, the way they righted the ship from what we experienced last year. And they took that challenge on from day one when we came together. And so we're really looking forward to this opportunity to go compete.
Well, as usual, it seems like we focus on Matoka and their offense, but you've mentioned it earlier. This is their defense that really is the key to this ball club. You've got to find ways to move the ball on them, but also take advantage of opportunity. When you get down there in the red zone, you got to score. You got to get touchdowns. Field goals aren't going to do against this club, is it?
No, you got to take advantage of that. We can't give them a short field. We got to manage that. And we got to play really, air-free football, and that's the key in playoff games, and being able to manage that. And so, I think that this is going to be one heck of a college football game. I'm proud it's here in the state of Colorado, and it's going to be exciting, Jim.
Well, and then other things offensively, we talked about being physical. The offensive line, I guess. You kind of put it on them. It's kind of their game, isn't it? If they control things, if you have a good day on the offensive line, neutralizing them, it's going to be a good day for the Thunderbolts. That's almost the way you got to put it, isn't it?
Well, I think it's going to give us a fighting chance. A fighter's chance when you got that happening, and then you got to go make plays when those take place. And I think they're going to make plays, and then we got to make plays, That's the beauty of it. It's a championship bout. You don't get these opportunities, and I want to make sure we fully take advantage of a mulligan that we got.
And I guess you want the message of the fans. It's just a short drive up there. It's a beautiful stadium to go watch a ball game. It's nice for the visiting team. Good stands there. You're right on top of the X. It's all you can want to go to watch a ball game on and then the weather's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be sunny, 40 to some degrees. I-25 up. You take the 470 over there to Golden. You can go right there and be a part of it. And we need some representation. And I think that this is a good time to wear red in the stadium and be loud and proud. And you're going to be right behind our benches. Our kids are looking forward to it. They changed the rule where our red shirts that are not playing, and some of the guys that don't, we only get to dress 58 on playoff games. So some of those guys, we're going to have that sideline full, and it's going to be loud, but we need people in the stands. Come be a part of it, because you're in Colorado, you're playing playoff football in November. Why don't we go represent this city and how special it is and give these kids a fighting chance?
All right, we'll have the game for you on Saturday. It's 11:30 pregame show, 12 o'clock kickoff from Golden. Jim and Joe will be there to bring you the ball game. And John and his Warriors from the Thunderwolves will be there to take on the Ore Diggers. Special thanks to Ryan Howard, everybody here at ThunderZone Pizza and Tap House, and Ardini Brothers for sponsoring the Car Pros John Wristen Show. Everybody for providing the hats. John, any other people you want to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to really thank Matt Hutch over there at Keg One and those guys being a part of it. They are great supporters, and it's been fun being able to pass out their products.
All right, good deal. All right, for my partner, Joe Cervi. Aaron Kinnishtzke, by the way, has been our producer and engineer tonight. Aaron will be with us on Saturday as well. For my partner, Joe Cervi, I'm Jim Brooks. For the head coach, John Wristen. Good night, everybody.
Go Pack!